In the last video, which for you will be some time afterwards, but for me was a mere hours, I talked about how I'd passed my theory and now it was time to get in a truck and start my training. But there's been a setback. So I just spoke to the training company and they told me because of Christmas and what have you, which obviously I wasn't expecting to be trained over Christmas week, there is a bit of a backlog and the next available date is going to be the 24th of February. Now, as I record this, it is the 23rd of December. That means that now I've passed my theory, I have to wait a full 2 months before I can do any practical training. Now, it's not ideal for me personally because I kind of need this to sort of crack on a little bit. I understand that Rome wasn't built in a day. It is what it is. It's not their fault if they're busy. I didn't, I suppose, anticipate having to wait 2 months to start my training. Once I passed my theory, I thought that we would sort of start that reasonably soon after the new year. But it is what it is. The way they operate, and I suppose the way a lot of places operate, is they do your training and your test in the same week. So they don't book your training until they have a test date as well. So they'll do 3.5, 4 days of training, then your test. And I guess just the way that it's worked, that we're just gonna have to wait, which is really frustrating. 2 months just feels like a long time to wait without basically doing anything. But there we go. The people at the training company, I'm training with a company called Tilston Training in Cly. Lovely. They're really, really nice. They've been great. I can't fault them. It's not a criticism of them. It is what it is. It's a frustrating situation, but there's no one to be frustrated at. It is what it is. She has put me on the cancellations list. So she said if anyone has to reschedule or cancelled, I am currently the only person on that list, and they will, let me know and I can bump it forward. But unless that happens, it's going to be the end of February. I thought though I'd just talk a little bit about how much it costs because people really like to know that sort of thing. So I've got a whole price list here of what I'm paying to go through my the whole thing. And what's really good about Tilston is they've itemized everything, and the actual cost for the things that have to be done, like your medical, your theory tests, are the price you would pay if I went to book it myself. They're not charging you any extra for those things. There's no markup on it. The cost essentially that will differ from them will be the training costs of what they're providing you. So the medical's £50, which is pretty standard. D4 Medicals did the medical for me, but that is the company that they have in. I don't know if there's other companies that do medicals, but but D4 seem to be one of the biggest companies that I see that do HGV medicals. Then there was the 2-part theory test, so that's hazard perception and your multi-choice. That's £37 combined for both of them. Then the actual practical training itself, which is direct access car to lorry, for me is £1,800. Now that price isn't including VAT. So there's an extra, £360 to go on top of that. But £1,800 is the training fee. Then the actual cost for the off-road maneuvers, so that's your reversing, is £40. And then the on-road driving, so that's your test, is £115. So the Mod 2 case studies after that, which is your theory test, which I have already done, is £23. And then the practical training material for the case studies is £130. And then the practical test fee is £41. So as you can see, it mounts up. In total, I don't have the exact total figure. I think it comes to like 2,600 there or thereabouts. I'll put it up on screen for you. Now, it's not about cost. It is to an extent, but the important thing is that you go with a company that has a good track record and that you can see reviews that people have used them, and that they're going to offer you a good service and they're going to get you exactly what you want. There's no point going with a company that's really, really cheap if, you know, they're not going to teach you what you need to be taught. It's a bit of a trade-off. But all of the companies I'd been to before this one, they were well over 3,000, between 3,200 and 3,500. So it's quite a big difference. And I have to say, I've spoken to them quite a few times, been lovely, very friendly, family-run business, so I can't complain at all. It's frustrating that I can't do my test, you know, or training in the new year in January, but we just have to accept it and move on. I mean, I don't really want to pray for someone to have to cancel or rearrange, you know, I don't really want to pray for that, but I mean, it would be better for me if they did. So we're just gonna have to take our time and play it by ear. Thank you for watching the few videos that I've put out. The journey does continue, just very slowly.